Hey folks, I'm going to be putting out some trail cameras today. I got 5 cameras I want to try to get out this afternoon yet. And one thing I want to talk about though is these Energizer Lithium batteries. And they have their purpose, and I think there's a lot of people that get confused about them, essentially how they work, all right? And I've switched it up on how I utilize these batteries, and let's say even last year or 2 years ago. And I want to talk about that today, and hopefully this saves you folks some money at home and show you the route that I go and why these batteries are getting kind of faded out, but they still have their purpose, all right? Let's talk about that right now. Now, there is some confusion on how these batteries essentially work when they are your direct energy source for your trail camera. They're your only energy source, okay? So these batteries will always read 100%. You know, I'll read the people that utilize these batteries and they're like, oh man, these are awesome batteries. You know, I've had them in for 3 months and it's still showing 100%. They're designed that way, okay? So these particular batteries, these Energizer Lithium batteries, are designed to give full amount of power all the time. They're either 100% or they're essentially 0%. Okay. If I put Energizer alkalines in these, okay, when you start to get lower, say 30% or so, or less, okay, these are going to start to show dimmer and dimmer and dimmer pictures, especially at night. If you utilize the Energizer Lithium batteries in a particular camera like this, okay, you shouldn't, and I never have noticed, dimming of the pictures. The pictures are going to stay bright all the way through, and then when the camera dies, it's dead. It's completely gone. So that's if you utilize the Energizer Lithiums as your main battery source. But like I said, I've gotten away from that just because it's gotten so expensive. Now, the other thing I want to mention too is a lot of people will put these batteries on a tester, the Energizer Lithium batteries on a particular tester. And once again, they're always going to read 100% until they get really close to that range where they die, and then they die. So there is that confusion that I see all the time in regards to these particular batteries, all right? All right, just so you know, folks, I am not a fanboy of any particular camera. I don't really care as long as the camera does its job. I have a stealth cam here that's a 4K, which I really like for creating my videos as far as mock scrapes and talking a little bit more about mock scrapes just because the video footage is excellent on here, but this is not a cell cam. And then I primarily utilize all the Tacticam reveals. So this is my primary camera, and then I got some cheapo Tascos, and I also have a couple cheapo stealth cams that I utilize as well. Now I have 17 cameras that I utilize totally out in the woods, and as you would know, it gets quite expensive. Last year I ran, we'll call it maybe about 25% battery boxes, and then I ran about 75% of the Energizer Lithium batteries, the silver and blue ones, and it became really, really expensive. So this year I just went to all battery boxes, and you know, some people are like, well, Clint, if you're going to all battery boxes, you don't need to utilize the Energizer Lithium batteries anymore. And I'm like, no, I still utilize those. So here's why I still utilize the Energizer Lithium batteries, and it might be dependent upon your situation, and we're going to talk about that right now. But right now, let's just go over where these lithium batteries still have their place. One thing I do want to say real quick that some people are not aware of, at least for most of the cameras that I'm aware of, at least the Tacticam Reveal, the stealth cams, is that if you have these in your camera, okay, the camera will always use the external source first, and then they'll utilize the inside battery system second, okay? So you don't ever have to worry about them tapping into this, the camera tapping into this component here. You'll always use that external battery source first, and then these batteries second. So there's a couple of reasons why I want this to be my internal battery source. The number one reason is that these batteries are not affected by cold weather, or as much by cold weather. Now, I'm in Wisconsin here. I have some of these cameras that I put out in northern Wisconsin. So I want to make sure that these batteries don't get affected by cold weather, and that cold weather can really drain those alkaline batteries, all right? The other thing is these are my internal backups for 20 years, because these have a 20-year shelf life, give or take. But That's what they say on their box. And so I can buy these one time for my particular trail camera, or let's just say I run through three different trail cameras in that time frame. I can take these batteries out and I can put them in each trail camera for the next 20 years. The other thing is I can just leave these batteries in here. The one nice thing about lithium that people don't understand is that these batteries are designed not to leak or break acid like you see in alkaline batteries. Because if you put alkaline batteries in here and you leave them in there, okay, they can break open and leave battery acid and corrode the terminals. Now, yes, you could pull those batteries out, which I've done in the past, and then put them back in to ensure that they don't leak or break. But essentially, what you have here is a 20-year battery backup system in place. So folks, I've done the math. I'm going to tell you right now, the cheapest way to go is to create these battery boxes. They're really not that much more than, let's say, a 12-pack of the Energizer Lithium batteries. But once you have the initial investment in it, you just recharge those batteries year after year. And it's going to save you a ton of money going forward. And once again, the only purpose for these particular batteries right now is when I have my trail cameras 4 to 5 hours away. Let's say when I put them up in northern Wisconsin, and a bear comes by and pulls out the power cord, or let's just say a person comes by, pulls out the power cord, whatever it might be, I still have these batteries intact. And I always utilize Python cables. So they're probably not going to get the trail camera. So the trail camera would stay, but they could run away, and an individual could run away with the battery pack. And then once again, these guys do not leak. They're not affected nearly as much by cold weather, so they make the perfect internal power battery pack, all right? That's the purpose that I have for these right now. To me, that's what they're meant for in this particular case when it comes to trail cameras. And I don't see any more reason to utilize these as your main power source. It just becomes way too expensive to run these, all right? If you folks don't mind, please hit that subscribe button. You know, I don't have any sponsors, and I don't want to have any sponsors. The sponsorship I want is from you folks at home. I want you folks to be the sponsor of Oak and Iron Outdoors. And then that way you folks can't say, hey, you know, that Clint, you're getting kickbacks from Tacticam, or you're getting kickbacks from Stealth Cam, or any other particular company, or even Under Armour. And actually, this was a free t-shirt. I'm not sponsored by Under Armour at all, and I don't want to be sponsored by anybody. That way you folks at home know that you're getting the genuine, straight to the truth on the stuff I utilize, because I do utilize products, but my main thing is the hunting strategy. To me, that's where I put the most of my gusto and my focus, all right? So once again, please hit that subscribe button, and I want to keep this channel forever sponsorship free, all right? Until next time, Clint from Oak and Iron Outdoors.